Welcome to the Gaggle, where we discuss politics inside of Arizona and beyond. I am your interim host, Ryan Randazzo, a business reporter for the Arizona Republic and AZ Central. We've got a special guest today, Mike Black. He's a defense attorney with experience in federal trials. We brought him in today because the big political news in Arizona is a corruption trial taking place right now. It involves a former utility regulator, Gary Pierce, his wife, Sherry, a lobbyist, Jim Norton, and a utility owner named George Johnson, who runs a water company out in the far East Valley. They're all on trial right now for an alleged scheme where the utility owner funneled money to the utility regulator via his wife. We don't want to get too much into the details of that. You can check AZ Central for updates on that trial, but Mike was at the trial last week for opening arguments. How do you think the defense attorneys and the prosecutor did in their opening arguments?
I thought they were both excellent. It's going to be a very difficult case because it involves the Arizona Corporation Commission, and to set the stage, the government has to tell the jury what rate making is, and it's really arcane, but I think they did a good job in laying it out. And similarly, I thought all of the defense attorneys gave excellent opening statements. I mean, this is an excellent group of lawyers. I've been in court with almost all of them over the years, and they're excellent ethical lawyers.
So there are 4 defendants and 1 prosecutor. It seems a little bit unfair to me because you get one stab at trying to make your case, and then 4 people get to sort of shoot that down. Is there a chance that some of these people are found guilty and some of them are not?
Oh, sure. It's common for a jury to split the verdicts, even among the counts and the defendants. Each of the 4 is charged with 8 counts. So a jury could very easily find 1 or 2 guilty and 1 or 2 not guilty.
It was my impression that the attorney for Mr. Norton, the lobbyist, was working extra hard to sort of make the case that just being a lobbyist isn't a crime in itself, and sort of defending that person's job. Did you get that?
Yeah, that certainly was clear, because he wants the jury to understand that it is a lobbyist's job to try to influence lawmakers legitimately without a bribe.
And what could happen to these people if they're found guilty?
If they're found guilty, they're all going to go to prison for probably, I looked at the federal sentencing guidelines, for probably 21 to 27 months. If they're convicted on any count, there's no probation, they go.
So, Rachel, you covered the governor's office. I'd like to ask you, one of the defendants in this case is Jim Norton, a prominent lobbyist. He's got formerly had lots of high-profile clients, but he's also a close friend of Governor Doug Ducey. If he goes away to prison for 2 years, do you see any blowback on the governor's office?
If you were to actually go to prison, I think that would reflect on the governor's office. This issue, when it first came up, when the indictments were first announced, this was a huge talking point for the Democrats who are running against Ducey. But since then, as the teachers strike and the Theranos thing and all that other stuff has sort of taken up criticism for them toward Ducey, and the trial sort of taken a backseat. But as the trial wears on, if they actually get convicted, those things would play heavily, I think, into the governor's race.
Well, I'm curious in all of this, Michael. There's been a lot of rumblings in political circles for the last, year plus about the extent of this. We know there was a larger investigation where this case came out of. Do you have any sense of how just far-reaching this might be?
I do. In the courtroom, I saw 2, if not 3, criminal defense lawyers taking notes during the opening statement. And my visceral instinct is that they're representing some individuals in a more far-reaching investigation. In addition, both Pierce and Norton were offered pleas, and that has to have been because there's something else going on. They wouldn't have needed their testimony to convict anybody in the current trial. They're looking to go up higher, just like they are in the Trump investigation.
So more to come on that. For our final segment, we will spill the tea. I'm going to ask our guest to make a little bit of a prediction. Mike, how do you see this? I mean, we've got weeks of testimony ahead of us, but how do you see this playing out? Are we going to get 4 guilty verdicts or not?
No, I can't answer that, but viscerally, someone's going to get convicted of something. That's a given, I think. Whether some people walk away is another question or another issue, but someone's going to get convicted.
Okay. For my own tea, I've been working on the issue of the Navajo Generating Station coal-fired power plant. We learned today that there's going to be a protest or a rally for that coal plant here at the Capitol on Thursday. I'm going to make my own prediction. The coal miners are saying that they have found a news about a new potential owner for that coal plant. My prediction is that there is not going to be any deal for that coal plant without a major ask from these new buyers, whether that's going to be forcing someone to buy the electricity or major subsidies from the federal government to keep that plant running.
I've got some interesting tea involving Secretary of State Michelle Reagan. I'm hearing that some candidates say her office lost their nominating petitions, so check back at AZ Central. I'll have some reporting on that.
Sounds good. Rachel, anything?
I have an interesting callback that I'm curious if it will come up. David Garcia's campaign filed a huge records request related to Jim Norton and the Ducey administration, and they got it months ago. So I'm curious if they're ever going to come forward with what they found in those documents, or if there was anything or anything like that. So maybe they have some tea that they want to share eventually.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.